Howdy. Howdy. It is a pleasure to welcome you to the inaugural Meeker Endowed Lecture Series of Excellence. My name is Stacy Vincent, and I'm honored to serve the Department of Agricultural Leadership, Education, and Communications, or as we refer to it, ALEC, here at Texas A&M University. I recently joined the team having arrived from Kentucky. End of July and officially stepping into my role on August 1 as department head. In this short time, I've already seen how deeply rooted the Aggie core values, respect, excellence, leadership, loyalty, integrity, and selfless service are in the people, the culture, and the mission of Texas A&M. These values resonate really closely with me, as they remind me personally, as I reflect upon my principles that I grew up with in a rural community in Kentucky. Those values are not only embodied by our faculty and our staff and our students, but also exemplified in today's inaugural speaker, a former ALEC student, Mr. John Bellinger, whose leadership and commitment to service reflect what we strive to cultivate here in our college and across the university. But before we hear from Mr. Bellinger, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the generous endowment upon which the speaker series was built. This was made possible by Mr. Thomas Meeker, a proud member of the Fighting Texas Aggies in class of 1941, a former ALEC student, and an Oklahoma native. Mr. Meeker created this endowment with a powerful vision. Now, think about this. To stimulate thought, promote Aggie values, and advance teaching and learning for agriculture. His gift reflects a belief in the importance of equipping students, not just with technical skills, but with the critical thinking and leadership tools that the social and behavioral sciences bring to the field of agriculture. The aim to this public lecture series is to advance the study of social sciences and behavioral agriculture and life sciences with the objectives to promote innovative collaboration and system thinking, and reinforce how behavioral and social sciences are essential to the future of our discipline. By inviting influential voices from industry, academia, and government, the Meeker Speaker Series fosters deeper understanding, broader engagement, and helps position our department and the Texas A&M College of Agriculture and Life Sciences as a leader in these conversations. It also serves a broader purpose to create awareness, define our messaging around social sciences, and build long-term relationships with stakeholders while honoring the generosity and vision of the Meeker family. With that, it's my great pleasure to welcome a few distinguished guests who took the time to join us. Please hold your applause until our guests are introduced. Dr. Susan Balabina, Executive Vice Chancellor of the Texas A&M University System. Dr. Alan Sams, Executive Vice President and Provost, Texas A&M University. Dr. Scott Schaefer, Chief of Campus and Community Enrichment, Texas A&M University. Dr. Patricia Klein, Executive Associate Dean, College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. Dr. Rick Avery, Director, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. Dr. Cliff Lamb, Director, Texas A&M AgriLife Research. Dr. Amy Swinford, Director, Texas Veterinary Medical Diagnostics Laboratory. Dr. Teresa Davis, Director, Texas A&M AgriLife Institute for Advancing Health through Agriculture. Dr. Heather Engelking, Director, Institute for Infectious Animal Diseases. Caitlin Calvert, Assistant Vice Chancellor for Educational Development and Engagement. Hugh Simpson, Assistant Agency Director for External Affairs, Texas A&M Forestry Service. Not with us, but joining us online, I would also like to recognize these distinguished guests. Dr. Elsa Morano, Director, the Norman Borlaug. Oh, well, strike that. We're going to have her own little applause here. Dr. Elsa Morano, Director of the Norman Borlaug Institute for International Agriculture and Development, Borlaug Institute, and President Emerita. Thank you. Now, I'm going to try to say that she's online, but she might be here with us. Joy Cox, Assistant Vice Chancellor for External Relations. And Dr. Mary Kate Walters, the 2025 recipient of the Outstanding Early Career Alumni College of Ag and Life Sciences and former ALEC student. Thank you all. I'm very honored and humbled that there are ALEC former students who serve on our advisory board that are present with us. Dora Ann Gostiknik. I'm sorry. It's the Kentuckian in me. Dr. Leroy Schaefer and Mrs. Nancy Schaefer. And joining us virtually, Dr. Jimmy Cheek, Warren Mayberry, and Dr. Ruben Saldana. Thank you all. And I want to extend our deepest gratitude to the following individuals who made this event possible. Kelsey Agnew, Assistant to the Board of Regent, the Texas A&M University System. Deanne Grays, Communications Project Director for the Texas A&M AgriLife Department of Marketing, Communications, and her entire team. Deanne Cruz, Registration Coordinator, Texas A&M AgriLife Educational Development and Engagement, and her team. Jill Lee, Executive Assistant, Office of the Vice Chancellor and Dean. Michael Johnson, Annenberg Presidential Conference Center. Andrew Kilzer, Texas Filmworks. And if you noticed as you were checking in, we had several of our students, ALEC Aggie Reps, Whitley, Madison, Savay. Our ALEC PhD students, Rachel, Seth, Schwa, Manuel, Carissa, Bob. We're very honored and thankful to have them to help put this all together. I now would like to introduce my friend, my next door neighbor in my office, Dr. Jim Mazurkovich, to introduce our inaugural lecturer.
Thank you, Dr. Vincent. Howdy. Howdy. Y'all can do better than that. Howdy. Howdy. Thank you. Thank you. It's indeed an honor and a pleasure to introduce to you a lifelong friend, Regent John Bellinger. I can think of no one that meets the values of this Meeker series better than John. John Bellinger of San Antonio, Texas, is the co-founder with his wife, Gina, and the former CEO of Food Safety Net Services. He was appointed to the Board of Regents by Governor Greg Abbott in 2023. He serves as chairman of the Committee on Research and as a member of the Committee on Audit and the Committee on Academic and Student Affairs. Mr. Bellinger was appointed in 2025 to serve as a member of the University Lands Advisory Board to oversee its operations and management. He is currently a board member of the recently merged company, which combines FS&NS and the Certified Group, along with several companies in the United States, Mexico, and Japan that focus on livestock and the food industry. Mr. Bellinger is CEO of AgriWest International and Bellinger Development. He is a former chairman of the U.S. Meat Export Federation, former chairman of Southwest Meat Association, and former member of the Texas Beef Council and various other committees of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Mr. Bellinger is a member of the Texas A&M University College of Agriculture Development Council and the Animal Science External Advisory Council. He is a former recipient of the Texas A&M Outstanding Alumnus Award in Animal Science and the College of Agriculture in 2014. And he was inducted into the U.S. Meat Industry Hall of Fame in 2022. In addition, John is the founder of the Houston Livestock Show Intercollegiate Meat Judging Contest. Mr. Bellinger received a bachelor's degree from this department in agriculture education in '76 and a master's degree in animal science in '78, both from Texas A&M University. But while completing his graduate studies, he was an instructor of animal science and coached the Texas A&M meats judging team. Gina, his spouse and business partner, class of '89, and John, class of '76, are extremely proud parents of Jack, class of '21, and Lauren, class of '23. Now let me tell you a little bit about John that I know personally, whom I've known since the fall of 1974. John is a man of strong faith, a loving husband, a wonderful father, and a caring son. We first met on Labor Day in September 1974 in the old Animal Science Building on main campus during the meats judging class, Animal Science 317, that Dr. Smith led and who is here with us today. When John arrived at Texas A&M in the fall of 1972, there were only 16,000 students here. We have almost 80,000 today. There were very few female students, even though we were opened up at that time, but there were very few. Most of the dorms were not even air-conditioned. I can tell you mine wasn't. The Bush School, the complex where we are today, was the Swine Center. Brookshire Brothers was the Horse Center. And Clayburg, where Animal Science stands now today, and most of West Campus, was the Beef Center. There was no Dixie Chicken. There was no Hall of Fame, no Harry's, but we did have what they called Lakeview. I think that building's still there. But there was something interesting going on at that time. There was a new restaurant in town that had a novelty that they sold called pizza. Actually, it was invented in New York, not Italy. During our judging career together, John and I, with the team, traveled over 50,000 miles together. We drove through, I think, 36 states. John, correct me, but they would wake me up every time we would cross a state line so I could say I was in a new state. And we represented Texas A&M in 9 different contests across the United States. And we did all that, Dr. Smith, in about 15 months. This was one of the best leadership development programs I have ever been associated with. And I believe John would say the same thing. And Dr. Smith, we owe you both a great deal of gratitude. Let's give Dr. Smith a round of applause. It was a life-changing experience for these 2 country boys. We were both first-generation college students wanting to advance our education, and we both loved agriculture. John has given back to his alma mater through the Bellinger Foundation, sponsoring scholarships and programs at Texas A&M University. He has been a long, lifetime supporter of the Houston Livestock Show Intercollegiate Meats Judging Contest ever since its inception. Helped the Texas A&M judging teams raise money for decades for travel and awards. He has given to the Texas Aggie Corps of Cadets, the M.D. Anderson, the American Meat Science Association, San Fernando Cathedral in San Antonio, the 4-H Ambassadors Program, and many, many more great causes. John is the same person I met 51 years ago, and he has always left things better than he has found it. We're very proud of John's accomplishments, but most of all, his friendship, his character, and his love for Texas A&M University. Please join me in welcoming Regent John Bellinger, class of '76, to the stage as our inaugural speaker for the Meeker Endowed Lecture Series of Excellence, John Bellinger. Please help me make him feel welcome.
You did too much, buddy. Wow, how do I follow that? Howdy. Well, he left out a couple of things. One is, yes, we had to wake him up. We were supposed to wake him up when we crossed the state line. But Jimmy had to get out of the car every time we crossed the state line and take a picture in front of Oklahoma, Nebraska, Iowa. So the goal, whoever was driving, was make sure you cross the line when he was asleep and don't wake him up because we want to get home. Oh, gosh. Oh, my. Thank you all very much. Truly appreciate the kind introduction. Jimmy and I, as he said, been friends since 1974. We're on the meat judging team. It's an honor to be the inaugural speaker for the Meeker Endowed lecture series. Truly appreciate the opportunity. It's particularly special for me being a 1976 Ag Ed graduate. That was a very special part of my life, and we'll talk more about it here in a minute. Before I begin, I do want to introduce my wife, Gina, class of '89, with a degree in microbiology. Gina and I have been married 29 years. Next year's 30 years. She has put up with a lot, as Jimmy would know, and Dr. Smith would know. But we have two great kids, as Jimmy mentioned. Jack, class of 21, double major, animal science and chemistry. And he is in the Marine Corps today, and he's in Pensacola training to be a pilot. He wants to fly 35s. We'll see what he gets, but that's what his goal is today. And our daughter Lauren was class of 23 and 24 with a BS and MS in marketing from the Mays School. Look, what I want to do today, well, I do want to introduce, you met Dr. Smith, and also want to introduce Dr. Cross and Elsa Morano. You'll hear about all three of those today. Thank you guys for being here. Truly, I'm usually here listening to one of those three, and I don't know how this got flipped, but it did, and they were all three very influential in my life. But my goal today is to kind of go through my life and then stop and talk about life lessons. What could maybe help you? I hope that you can pull a few things out of today's talk. And I've got about 30 minutes that we're going to talk or so, and then we're going to open up for questions and dialogue. And anything that's on your mind during the process, don't hesitate. You know, success comes in many different definitions. It's not necessarily money. A single mom who raises her kids to be good citizens are a true success. I probably hired more single moms because they were the best employees we had. And they worked hard and had a reason to work hard. An ag teacher who's a true mentor to his or her students is a true success. I can't say enough about ag teachers. Dr. Smith was ag ed, by the way. So let me tell you a little bit about myself and cover some success as we go through it, or our learning lessons. There were a lot of learning lessons. I grew up in San Antonio until the 5th grade, then we moved out towards East Central High School, which was about, 25 miles outside of San Antonio. My mom was a housewife. My dad worked for the highway department and was a country and western musician. I didn't see him a whole lot. He worked nonstop, sometimes worked 5 days a week, and then played music 5-6 nights a week. But we had what we needed, and he loved music, and that was his passion. Highway department paid for it, but that was his joy. I was the oldest in my family. I had 2 brothers and 1 sister. One of my brothers and one of my sisters is in education. One of my brothers, first lesson, he was challenged in life. He was a drug addict, and addiction is a tough deal. It's a disease. He got caught up in the wrong crowd, and he got into heroin, and I can't believe he lived to 51. But a couple of things there, guys. 1, stay away from drugs. 2, if you see someone that's involved in it, your family member, help them till the bitter end. And 3, if and when you have kids, work with them closely and watch them closely. Don't assume, don't bury your head in the sand because it may bite you in the tail. Just a little lesson there. I was also the oldest of 18 grandchildren on my mother's side, the Polish side. My Polish grandparents were in Kosciuszko, Texas. You know, the original the first Polish settlers came to Texas. Jimmy can give you a long lecture on that. But they came to Panna Maria and Czestochowa, Kosciuszko, St. Hedwig, southeast of San Antonio. My grandfather, Alois Kaloji, i.e. Popo, he was my first mentor in life. He only had a third grade education because they had to stop and work on the farm back then in the early 1900s. But yet he was one of the smartest people I've ever met. And I spent so much time with him being the oldest and helping him on the farm and ranch. And I learned one big lesson early on. I was always trying to impress him. And we had a load of corn one day that, I was unloading, and I wanted to unload it as fast as I could. And he stopped and he said, you know what? If you don't pace yourself, you're not going to finish that load of corn. And that, it's something I remember to this day. You just talk a little bit about pacing yourself. To properly pace yourself, you need a plan. Proper planning increases the chances of success. Once you have your plan, then properly pace through it step by step. Last night, Gene and I were very fortunate to listen to Alex Kershaw next door here at the rudder. And Alex is a expert on General Rudder. He studied General Rudder over and over again, and he gave us the whole history of General Rudder and Point du Hoc. One of the things that made Rudder successful at Point du Hoc and really successful for D-Day was he prepared and prepared and he prepared. He knew everything about Point du Hoc. He knew what he needed to do, and because of his preparation, we had success on D-Day. Horses, cattle, and football were my life growing up on 42 acres. Riding horses without a saddle and bridle was probably the most fun I had in my life. Thank God we lived on sand and not rock, because I wouldn't be here today. With two brothers, that was our entertainment. There was no social media, and I think that's probably, wish we had some of that today more than what our kids live on social media. Raising show steers in FFA was truly a passion of mine, as well as playing football. In addition to raising show steers in FFA, my other passion was judging contests. I was on the meat judging team my freshman year as an alternate, and then my sophomore year, we lost by 1 point in state. Raising show steers, football, and judging contests taught me that the harder you work, the more success you gain. Sports and FFA taught me how to make a decision. Life is full of decisions. Whether it is what item you order off a menu at a restaurant, or which degree should I pursue, or should I go to grad school? Don't be afraid to make a decision. You will make mistakes. You will learn from your mistakes. Success in life does not come without making the right and wrong decisions. Learning from the wrong decisions is priceless. That's where you get your growth. The good decisions you'll take for granted. The wrong decisions, you'll remember those forever, and you won't forget the wrong decisions. I'll never forget a football team that I coached, my son. We went, he was in the 7th and 8th grade. I coached him at a Catholic school, and took it on. My wife thought I was crazy. My board of directors, Elsa Morano and Dr. Smith, said, "You can't do both." I said, "I got to do both." And we went 0-7. I thought, well, maybe I did make a mistake. But we didn't give up. We didn't give up, and from that point on, we went 1-11. And it was priceless, and learned a lot from it, no doubt about it. talk a little bit about Rudder, a decision he made. He, when the boat was going on to Point de Hoc, Omaha Beach or Utah Beach, they got caught up in some waves and they went the wrong direction. And he had to make a decision. What do I do? And he looked up and he saw this mound of rocks that he wasn't aware was there, that had fallen recently. And it actually, instead of a 100-foot cliff, there was 40 feet of rocks. They climbed up. They were on top of Point de Hoc within 1 hour. They had not planned that. But he made the decision on the fly to go up those rocks. And again, the difference that made was incredible. From my time in FFA, I obtained a second mentor, my ag teacher, Albert Usner, at East Central. He was an incredible teacher and mentor to me. As a first-generation college student, Albert knew my first desire was to be on a collegiate meat judging team. That would drive me to get my degree. And even though Albert was a Red Raider, he told me as a true mentor, as much as I want you to go to Tech, you got to go to Texas A&M because they have a good meat judging team because of that guy over there, Dr. Smith. And that's where I went. Whatever he would have told me, if he'd have told me to go to UT, I don't know, but I probably would have done it. But I went to A&M because of Albert. After 2 years at Southwest Texas in San Antonio Junior College, I transferred into College Station. I did not know a soul in College Station. I knew one guy, Dr. Herman Brown. So over the prior 2 years, I was calling Dr. Brown, who was head of the Ag Ed department at the time. So what do I do? I don't have a clue. I've never, I don't barely know where College Station is except for coming here for judging contests. And Herman helped me a lot. He truly was a great man. He told me exactly what courses to take at both of those other colleges that would transfer in, welcomed me when I got here. Very, very special person. Huge help to me. At A&M, I was committed to getting my Ag Ed degree and teaching VOAG. I was blessed to be on the 1975 Texas A&M meat judging team, where I met lifelong friends like Jimmy Mazurkowitz, or Mazurkevich, as they truly say. Judging helped me grow as a person and significantly increased my confidence. And that's what it's about, guys, is find something that will increase your confidence. I mean, go get something, go do something that will increase your confidence, because the more confidence you get, the better your decisions. You stand up to people, and it's not that you stand up, but you're not intimidated by someone. And that's what you want to get to, is that we all put on our pants and stuff the same way. And you want to get to a point where someone doesn't intimidate you and you can dialogue with them. So find something that gives you confidence. As a senior in the teaching block, I was fortunate to go to Fredericksburg High School, where Albert Usner, my second mentor, was now teaching. He was from Fredericksburg. It was a wonderful experience, incredible experience. I really enjoyed it. And we were blessed that Albert and I coached the first state-winning meat judging team that Albert had. And had an incredible team, and that team went on to win national. And I was offered a job to teach at Fredericksburg High School, which was one of the best schools to teach at that point in time, and still is today. But shortly after winning the contest, my third mentor in life, Dr. Gary Smith, called me and offered me assistantship to go to grad school and coach the meat judging team. And it was a difficult decision. Had two great opportunities. I decided to go go to grad school. There I taught also, but it was a very difficult decision. Hard work, having a great team, and proper preparation enabled us to win the contest. And that enabled me to have a major decision to make: teach or keep going to school. Success leads to more opportunities. So if you get that needle threaded and you get one success, it's going to lead to another, it's going to lead to another. And you take them one at a time and appreciate it and respect it. One of my favorite comments to employees when it comes to success, a lot of them will come up and tell me, particularly salespeople. They tell you how hard they're working, and they're just busting their butts, and I'm going 6 days a week, and a lot of salespeople are selling me versus selling the customer, and I say, look, guys, I appreciate it, but don't get effort confused with results. Don't get effort confused with results. At the end of the day, yes, I'm busting my ass, but are you getting results? And you got to end up getting some results at some point, somehow, some way. Doesn't have to be like this, but it needs to be going in that direction. And, if it's just going up in the right direction, I'm fine with it. If it's just flat or going down, don't get effort confused with results. I was blessed to obtain my MS in meat science. I was coaching the A&M meat judging team, and it started my PhD when my former judging teammate, Tim Jambers, gave me a call. Tim offered me a job at 74 Ranch Beef in Houston. Vertically integrated beef operation, ranches, feed yard, retail stores, processing plant. It really was intriguing to me. It was one of the most difficult decisions of my life, and this guy over here probably didn't talk to me for about a year. Leaving Dr. Smith in the middle of started my PhD was very, very difficult. One of the hardest decisions of my life. But my desire to be in business overrode my desire to complete my PhD. And I don't know what it is. There's stuff in your gut that you all have, and your instinct tells you, I need to go that direction. Let me tell you a little something. When you graduate, guys, you're starting over. You're starting over. You're going to be a freshman when you leave here, when you graduate. Just because you have a BS, MS, or PhD doesn't mean, I don't want to say doesn't mean anything. It's a door opener. But treat it accordingly. It's an education piece that you then, it's not an entitlement. I've probably let go a lot of PhDs in my time as a business owner because they couldn't connect the dots of, making money, and particularly in our case, that we were a commercial business. And if you're a PhD, when you introduce yourself, you do it like these two guys in El Morano. They never say, I'm Dr. Gary Smith. It's Gary Smith, Russell Cross, Elsa Morano. Your PhD is for you. Your master's is for you. But that's a door opener. Use that then to go prove to whoever you're working with that you can do it, that you have that extra knowledge. It's just it's the way the world looks at it, and I tell you, you'll gain a lot from that. Hard work, having a great team, and proper preparation enabled us to win that contest, and then enabled me to have a major decision. I already went through that, excuse me. Let's see. So after 4 years at 74 Ranch Beef, the owner decided that she wanted to move on. Very eccentric lady, Josephine Abercrombie. Leroy, you probably remember Josephine. Very eccentric lady that decided she was going to get out of the meat business and go in the boxing business. So I sat down with her cousin, who was manager of 74 Ranch Beef, Max Rotholz, and he was letting us go. I was 27 years old. Before he could finish letting us go, I said, I want to buy the business. I had no clue what I was doing. I had never had a business course in my life. And Max looked at me and he said, John, we can't make it work. How are you going to make it work? I said, I really don't know, but I want to try. And at 27, again, not having one business course, we opened Texas Western Foods. We were successful for the first 2 years in selling restaurants in Houston and oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. Unfortunately, in 1985, Leroy, you remember this well, oil went to $9 a barrel. Houston became a ghost town. Restaurants and all rigs went bankrupt. Our bad debt soared and consumed our cash flow, not to mention our sales dropped 50%. I was beyond broke. We were beyond broke. And I worked 7 days a week, rarely saw sunlight for 2 years. But my goal was to hold our team together and our business together until we found a profitable business. I was late on every bill I had. I knew one thing: I couldn't bounce a payroll check. If you're ever in business, you can bounce some checks, but you cannot bounce a payroll check because you'll lose your team. And it sounds crazy, but that is the truth. And one day I had the feds come in. I hadn't paid my payroll taxes in 6-9 months. We had no money. The feds came in. I thought it was the end. I said, okay, this is it. Here's the keys. And the guy said, I don't want any more keys. I've got more keys. I got a trunk full of keys in my car. I don't need any more keys. I want a payment plan. We put together a payment plan and paid off our payroll debt in about 12 months. It was gut-wrenching. It was gut-wrenching. But from that time, I got a PhD in business, in money management, in prioritization, everything that you can think of to keep the doors open. It was very special. Prioritization is just huge. What do I do? Each day you get up, you should be prioritizing. What's the most important thing should I do today? What do I need to accomplish? What do I want when I finish the day? I sit down, have a glass of wine or whatever it is. What did I get done? And it is just critical that you do that each and every day. I was prioritizing what bills I could pay by the hour. Somebody would call and say, John, I'm cutting you off. I can't deliver this load of meat. Okay, I got to give them some money. And somebody else wasn't calling. That was my prioritization, day by day, hour by hour. As we saw in COVID recently, in prior recessions, supermarkets boom and restaurants are doomed. I knew that we had to begin selling supermarkets. And together with another teammate, meat judging teammate, John Pilmer, who was with me at that time, we had a great fajita product for food service. We used to go to the Houston Livestock Show and serve these fajitas, and they were just, everybody, how do I get this? Where do I get this product? And we knew we had to get it in retail stores, but there was no packaging for retail. So John Pilmer and I developed this packaging so the marinade would not leak out of the package. And we did it out of survival. We had to get something done or we were going down. And we had the first marinated fajita product in the market in 1985. We went to Randall's supermarket, and thank God Mr. Onstead, who owned Randall's at the time, he wanted to help us, and he loved the product. And that was the launch for our survival. And within months, we got back to profitability, and we were selling supermarkets throughout the Southwest. So many lessons to be learned from my time owning Texas Western. Hard work, long hours. Working smart, and above all, persistence. Never give up, fight until the end. I can't tell you how important persistence is. It's figure out your plan, figure out your path, and don't give up. You're going to stumble. You're going to cross some things that are difficult. But if you're confident that you're on the right path, be persistent. Don't give up. We sold Texas Western to David Eller of the Granada Corporation. It's really an interesting story. Dr. Smith initiated it, another mentor, another Aggie mentor. My wife at the time and I went to this gala, Granada Gala. Some of you remember the Granada Gala. And David Copperfield was performing, and they did all kinds of crazy stuff there. And for whatever reason, they put us on the front row with Jackie Sherrill and us. I told her, I said, we're not supposed to be up here. I just own a little meat plant. And so anyway, I told Dr. Smith after the gala, I said, hey, there was something funny. I don't know why we're up there. He said, I don't know, you deserve it. And I said, no, I don't think so. Well, the next week, Dr. Smith calls, and he says, Ab, you were right. David Eller called me, and he wants to buy some meat plants. He said, I need to know if you want to be number 1 on the list or number 10 on the list, because I got to give him a list of 10 plants to buy. I said, you know what? I'm ready to move on to something different. Put me number 1 on the list. Because of that guy, he tells David, Texas Western should be number 1 on your list. Within a month, we sell to Granada. That's the power of a mentor in an Aggie family. And I'll get into more of that here in a minute. It's not what I accomplished, it's what people do for you being an Aggie. Lesson here. Find a mentor, guys. Find a true mentor and use them. Without my 3 mentors in life, I would have not had success. There's no doubt about it. What a true mentor is they give and they give and they give, and they never ask for anything. I mean, he's never once asked me for anything. And that's what a true mentor is. Go find them. You've got them. You've got some now, and there's some more out there. But find those mentors. Take advantage of them. They want you to do that, and use them. I was VP of sales for Granada for 2 years, but being an entrepreneur, it didn't fit me. I wanted to work for myself, and I started a company called AgriWest International, a meat trading company that we still have today. In 1989, AgriWest was exporting meat and all kinds of food products to Japan. I spent 3 months in Japan in 1989. Unfortunately, this caused my Longhorn wife at the time to exit our marriage. Lesson here. Try to find a partner who will support you in your passion. And if possible, avoid marrying a Longhorn. I found an Aggie, same high school, microbiology. We had a lot in common, and it's worked. I was blessed to meet Gina at a meat industry conference at the Rosenthal Center, of all places. When people ask, well, did y'all meet at A&M? And I say, yeah. Well, y'all in the same class? No, I went to school with her aunts. But we did meet at Texas A&M in the Rosenthal Center. Unbeknownst to me, we both grew up southeast San Antonio, went to the same high school, East Central, and both went to A&M. Gina worked for the largest food testing company in the U.S. at the time, Silica. I kept trying to convince her to start our own lab. I knew the meat industry, knew a little bit about business. She knew how to run a lab. No, we might go broke. We came here with nothing, we can leave with nothing. And I was in Taiwan selling meat, and she called me, panicking, saying, you're not going to believe this. That son of a bitch fired me. She had an a-hole for a boss. And I said, oh my God, that's fantastic. She said, what do you mean? I said, that is the impetus for us to go kick their ass. And that's all we needed. I needed her to get the impetus and get pissed off so we could go start a laboratory. And from that point on, we started Food Safety Net Services. And it was amazing what she accomplished and what we did. But we started from ground zero. Gina was first employee. I was still running AgriWest. And she, as she says, she was the courier. She set the samples. She read the results. She autoclaved the trash, and she cleaned the toilets. And she reminds me of that regularly. One of the big steps in growing the company was a bid on an E. coli project. Those of you know E. coli 0157H7, that's in ground beef. And in the 90s, it was new to everyone. Dr. Cross knows it well because he was the administrator at FSIS when the first Jack in the Box issues came up. And you were on 60 Minutes, is that right? And I don't think he'll ever forget that interview. But it was a very difficult time for all of us because several kids passed away in the Jack in the Box issue, and we were learning from undercooked ground beef, and we were learning about it and didn't know a lot about it. But the National Cattlemen's Beef Association had a research project. They said, well, we got to learn about it. We got to do a lot of research on 0157. So they put out this RFP. Well, a fellow Aggie, Bo Reagan, was running the project. And I asked Bo, I said, can we submit, we were a nobody. Food Safety Net Services was a nobody. By then we had maybe 5 employees. And he said, yeah, you can submit one. He's just kind of blowing me off. Well, it comes out we were 50% below the second company, second bidder. And Bo gets panicking. He thinks we're going to be out of whack, way too high. So what does he do? He calls my mentor, Dr. Gary Smith. He said, I got a problem. He said, these guys are 50% below the next bidder. I'm just scared they can't do it. He said, I don't know what to do. He said, I don't know how I handle this. He said, I got to know, Dr. Smith, can they do the project? In the way he said, of course they can do the project. And I know he had both fingers crossed. We got that project, and that was our launching pad. We took that, and from that project, it was a major E. coli, a lot of great research from it, and the whole United States knew of Food Safety Net Services after we completed that project. Again, mentor Aggie. Over the next 25 years, we opened 19 laboratories in North America. Most new labs were driven by Aggie friends in the industry. And you keep hearing this one common denominator, guys, and that's why you're here. Aggies drove our success. From an idea and the impetus of Gina getting fired, we grew to over 800 employees and $110 million in revenue. Thanks to all the previous lessons learned and a great group of true friends, most who were Aggies. Lesson here, don't be afraid to lean on your Aggie friends. We are one big family. And even if we have some imported Aggies, I know Elsa Morano bleeds maroon. She didn't get a ring, but she bleeds maroon. No doubt about it. And there's so many of you here that bleed maroon. Lean on them. Lean on them and don't hesitate, because they truly want to help you. And that hasn't changed. In all these years, it's still here. And as a Regent, we want to keep that culture here. We want to keep that Aggie family here. It's just critical. That's what makes us different. That's why you didn't go to UT. That's why you didn't go to some of the other colleges that you could go to. Even though we're 80,000 people, it doesn't feel like 80,000 people. Our daughter, Lauren, this was the last place she was going to go. Her dad and mom and brother went here. She was going to Pepperdine, any place but Texas A&M. She went to a really hard high school, St. Mary's Hall in San Antonio. Very difficult. Top 20% go Ivy League. She was barely 50%, 110 kids. They weren't going to let her in. They finally let her in the blend team. She was pissed off. And reluctantly, she went to A&M. After 2 weeks, and she'll tell you today, she's a poster child for blend team. She had a 4.0 all the way through Mays, all the way through her master's. But she's a poster child for blend team. After 2 weeks, she said, this is the best decision I ever made, was to come to Texas A&M. So we're blessed and fortunate. And lean on your Aggie friends. In 2021, we sold Food Safety Net Services, a bittersweet move. But at 65 years old, we had a lot of debt from our growth and not enough money in the bank. And I said, we better take some chips off the table, and we did. There are a few items I would attribute to FSNS being successful. Hire a great team. Have the right players on the bus in the right seat. I know you guys have heard that from good to great, but it's so true. Number one, get them on the bus or in the right seat. I had to move one particular person from one position to another. I didn't want to lose the person, but he excelled in the second when I got him in the right seat. And it's just over and over again. Find your team, then make sure you've got them in the right position. If you make a mistake with a hire, take ownership of it, and you got to term the employee. Let me tell you about General Rudder. Really a cool story we heard last night. General Rudder was not supposed to be on that mission. He wasn't going on that mission. There was another guy, and I don't remember his name. He was going to lead the charge, and Rudder was going to stay back. It was supposed to be June 5th is when they were going to go. Because of weather, they went June 6th. On June 4th, this guy that was going to lead the mission got really drunk in a bar with a bunch of the guys, part of the 250 were on that mission. And he said, this is a suicide mission, it's stupid, we shouldn't go, et cetera, et cetera. Word got back to General Rudder. That next morning, they were supposed to go out June 5th, weather hit, they went out June 6th. Because of the delay and because of that issue, Rudder fired that guy. And Rudder took over and led the team. Can you imagine if a guy that felt that this was a suicide mission and we shouldn't be going on it, what would have happened to those 250 soldiers? That's when you got to take control. If you've got a bad hire, you got to get rid of them. If you got a bad apple, you got to move on. Rudder is a classic example of what happened there. Develop a strategic plan. What is your plan? Whether it's your own personal plan or your company's plan, figure out what you want to do, find your passion, and develop your plan. Intently listen to people, in our case, customers. So many salespeople want to talk instead of listen. And you got to listen. You go listen to your customer, and you listen intently, and then you go back. You listen to what they need, not to what you want to sell. Then you go back and develop your plan. And you take it to them, and here's how I'm going to solve your problems. Here's how I'm going to make your life better. Work with a sense of urgency. When someone gives you, hey, I need this done, you need to bust your ass, and you need to go and get it done quickly. If it's your boss or someone else, don't let them come back to you and say, hey, what happened? Where is that deal? Oh, I'm getting around to it. You've got to work with a sense of urgency. In the laboratory business, we were open 365 days a year, 24/7. We never closed. Many Christmas days, we were at the lab. Gina was in the lab. I was doing something else. And you got to work with a sense of urgency, guys. You will be successful if whoever you're working with feels that you have a sense of urgency. Have a trusting relationship, particularly in our case with your customer. People need to know they can trust you to get the job done. We had all of Cargill's business, 100% of Cargill's business. And I had one quick story. We opened a lab in Omaha, Nebraska, and I knew we were not doing well. We had a calamity of errors, and we opened it up for Cargill. And about 2 weeks went by, and my people kept telling me, oh, it's fixed, it's fixed, it's fixed. It wasn't fixed. And the head of Cargill Protein, John Keating, called me. And I knew he was in Australia on vacation, and I knew this wasn't a good call. John said, John, how you doing? I said, are you in Australia? Yeah, I'm here with my family. I said, what are you doing calling me? He said, well, you know the problems we're having in Omaha? I said, yes, sir. He said, my team wants to leave you guys and go back to the old lab. And I don't want to do that. Can I trust you that y'all will fix this in 24 hours? I said, yes, sir. You can trust us that we're going to fix it in 24 hours. Thank you. That's all I needed. And we kicked ass, and we fixed it in 24 hours. But you got to have that trust that your customers or your friends are going to call you and give you that option to fix something. And if they don't trust you, they're not going to call you. They're going to go ahead and move on to somebody else. Have that relationship with your customer and your vendors. Don't treat your vendors like crap. Treat your vendors like a customer, and you'll get some great deals. Have the respect for your vendors. Develop a great board of directors and advisors. Gary Smith, Russell Cross, Elsa Morano were all advisors and board members of ours, and I listened to them and used them intently. In the same year, our son Jack was in the Corps of Cadets, Outfit H1. H1 was one of the toughest, most physically difficult outfits in the Corps. They produced a Navy SEAL almost every year. Through Jack, I saw that the A&M culture was changing. It was going in a direction that was not preparing our cadets for battle or for tough business. I spent my whole life working and was rarely able to donate my time or money until we sold FSNS. After seeing the issues at Texas A&M, I told Gina, I really want to go make a difference at Texas A&M. It's what gave me what we had, gave us both what we had. First generation, Gina was first generation college, so was I. The best way that I figured out to make a difference is to try to be on the Board of Regents. For 2 years, I spent time getting to know Governor Abbott and him getting to know me. And I was blessed in March of 23 that he called and offered me a position to be on the Board of Regents. I have no personal agenda at all. All I want is what's best for the system, for Texas A&M College Station and for the system. It's an honor to do it. As you know, with all that's happened in the last 2.5 years, it's not been easy as a regent. I use every lesson that I've learned in my life in the very difficult decisions that we have to make. Again, my simple goal is to make the system better. With that said, let's open it up for questions and comments and anything that's on your mind, whether it's whatever it might be. Look forward to trying to answer your questions.
Thank you for your talk, Regent Bellinger. I'll lead this off for us. And others of you wishing to have questions, if you don't mind, you can go ahead and begin lining up at the mics if you would like and ask a question, share a comment, whatever you'd prefer. And so the question I have for you, and we talked a little bit about this last week, but from your, you have the trifecta, former student, captain of an industry, now as a regent. So from your 40,000-foot view, where do you see the future that a department like ours can fill a potential need, or what's on the horizon that you think, oh, here's an opportunity for this group? Thank you again very much.
Sure. Well, the foundation of the answer is agriculture. People in ag are the salt of the earth, and the world is learning that. Employers are learning that. You can talk to a lot of employers, and it's what I did. If you had an ag background or a military background, I was going to hire you. And nothing against the other folks, but if you're in agriculture or you were in the military, you have the discipline you have the work ethic, you have the respect, and it's really special. No regrets on my daughter going to Mays, but ag leadership would have given her something a little more special that she'll never realize. My son got it in animal science, but the ag leadership piece, the whole agricultural piece is very, very special. And, people used to kind of laugh at farmers and such, and now they're saying, oh my God, I want that employee. Oh, you have a farm background? You have an ag degree? I'm telling you, nothing against my Mays friends, but you're doing really well. You've got something different and something special when you have an agricultural degree. It's a different group of folks. And again, it's salt of the earth.
Regent Bellinger, my name is Bruce Herbert. I've been a faculty member here at A&M for 33, almost 34 years now. As you know, A&M's been in the news in the last 2 weeks, and only some of the articles have been about the Notre Dame game. and that's not the best of all places. We seem to be at a time when we don't have the best relationship with the state government. And I was wondering about your thoughts about where we are,
Sure.
how we're going to get out of this, and most importantly, how can faculty help the Board of Regents?
I was wondering when that question would come up. I thought it might be first. No, look, first off, we have a good Board of Regents, and we're privy to a lot more information than we can talk about. And I'm not in disagreement with our governor and what he may or may want it. Did we have to make some tough decisions? Yes. Very difficult decisions. Where are we going? We're going to find an incredible president, I can tell you that. At 11:15 today, I interview our interim, and I think we've got a really good potential interim president. We're going to take our time. We're going to find an incredible person. President Welsh was an incredible man. There's no doubt about it. 4-star general, incredible person. What he accomplished, no doubt about it. I was with him last night. He was right next door. I thanked him for everything he's done. There's times you got to trust us, and it's difficult for me to explain that, but there's a lot of political stuff going on right now, and rightfully so. We had the issues 2.5 years ago with the McElroy issues. We got through that. We made some mistakes. But we're going to get through this one, and we're going to be better. I promise you. You got to give me a little bit of trust. You got to give us a little bit of trust. We're not going to go backwards. We're not going to go backwards, and there's no personal agenda. It's what's best for the system, and we're going to find someone that is going to be very good. And it's not that Welsh wasn't. He did a good job. And I know our provost can testify to that. And he's a good man, very likable man. But very difficult decision, very hard. Yes, we had some political pressure, but that's not. We made the decision. The Chancellor and the Board of Regents made the decision. And I'll take the heat. How can you help us? We'll find us some good candidates. No, I think what we have to have is respectful dialogue, like we're doing here. We don't have enough of that. We haven't had that in Washington in a long time. This respectful dialogue. I think understanding and trusting to a certain extent, that would help a lot. Taking the high road. There's some people. I talked to Porter Garner last night and said, well, he's got to talk to a guy in Georgia today. He's put his ring in his safe and he's not going to send him a dime. And like Porter said last night, this is for the students. Why would you stop giving? This was one person that's leaving, and a good person, but what we do is for the students. This is why we're here, is to help educate people. So let's keep our head high. Let's take the high road. This is for the students. And we are the best, and we're going to keep it there. And I'm not being arrogant. The more you learn about this place, the more we realize how unique and special we are, and how different we are, and how the military loves Aggies, business loves Aggies. They'll take an Aggie over a Longhorn any day of the week because we outwork them. continue to help us with the students in taking the high road and having great dialogue, whichever side of the fence you're on. I mean, that would help us a lot. And you know, my door is always open. If you have an issue, call me. I mean, I'm on the website and happy to dialogue and talk, you know, issues that I'm able to talk about. Good stuff. Difficult times, but it's we're going to get through it. President Walsh has been so good. It was great to see him there last night at the Rudder event. But we will be fine. We will be fine.
Regent Bellinger?
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing some thoughts with us this morning, and especially the personal stories that you mentioned from the 70s until now. And as a matter of fact, you just used the word website, which is probably something nobody would think of back in the 70s. And there's many of us in academia and elsewhere who are probably thinking with some trepidation about the influence of artificial intelligence. And certainly from the 70s to now, you've seen many, many changes. And I'd like to get your thoughts about maybe the benefits and the perils of AI in the meat industry, in food safety in particular, but then also within academia. And how is the board, if they're doing anything at all right now, thinking about this ginormous West Texas dust storm that's headed towards us, that's AI? Any thoughts on that?
Well, that's really more of a question for me to you, but you know, we're still getting our hands around it. We're listening and learning. You know, I'm not sure I'm totally qualified to answer your question, but we do have to be careful about what works and what doesn't work in AI. And what do we need to keep within the system confidentially that's not slipping off to China or whatever it might be. And I don't mean that negatively, but you know, the potential is there. We've got a lot of great things going on, whether it's around AI or the nuclear project that we're looking at. You know, I think AI has made nuclear much safer. We're smarter now, and you know, we're looking at having some nuclear energy sites at Rellis. So there's a lot of positive things that are going on. Do we really know that we got our hands around it? No. Are we qualified? I wouldn't say the regents are qualified. What we're looking for is information from you guys to guide us and to help us what we should be doing and not doing. I can't tell you that we have one AI expert on the team. So we really need to go and hire the best and keep the best in the system to be able to advise us and help us going forward. I mean, it's so new and it's moving so fast that we've got so much going on with growth in the system that we've got a lot to learn, and we've got to be on top of it. I mean, we have to be DOD, Department of Energy's go-to, and we have to be very good at AI to be able to get that business. Really didn't answer your question, but I'm not going to say I'm qualified to answer it, but you've rose it to higher on my list to be asking questions. Thank you.
Howdy again, Regent Bellinger. So as a fellow proud graduate of this department, one of the things that I think we do best, and Doug Starr, one of our former Pulitzer Prize faculty members, said, is within the world of agriculture, we lead, we teach, and we tell the world. And so as we are continuing as faculty to develop our students to go out and be the Aggies that you guys want to hire and want to make a positive impact, what are those skills that you think we should be focusing on to make them
Sure.
not only better leaders, but also better followers?
Yep. There's so many different things. I mean, the AI piece is an interesting one, and we're all going to have to. All the youth today is going to have a piece of the AI knowledge. You know, I don't think we've changed that much. I still believe that the first one to arrive and the last one to leave at work is recognized. I know we all want a balanced work life, and I don't quite know. My wife will tell you I'm not real good at that. I'm a bit of a workaholic, and how do you get this balanced work life? But I think you give it hell during the day, and then you go home and have quality time. You know, Dr. Smith and I have had this conversation about quality of life. He tells me he regrets not spending more time with his kids. And I hope I'm not talking about anything. And I'd look at him and I say, you know, Doc, your kids, the time you had with them, the time you have with them today is quality time. And what you accomplished, what he accomplished, is so much greater than having spent so much more time, you know, with people. And at some point, you know, you might spend too much time with them. And I think following your passion and then spending quality time with your family is huge. So it kind of goes back to, you know, the work ethic piece. Employers think of Aggies having good work ethic. Now, how you balance that all in your family is really up to you as an individual. But that's a critical piece, is the work ethic piece. And it hasn't changed, and it's expected more today than, employers are looking at that more so today than ever. So I don't, a lot of people don't want to hear that, but I'm telling you, it makes us different. We're not afraid to get our hands dirty as Aggies. We're not afraid to dive into issues. We like solving problems. Aggies like solving problems. And that's who we are. That's why we succeed, is we solve problems. So those are some of the basic things. It's really nothing different than it was 50 years ago, except you add the AI piece. You add everything you're learning today. You added the modern agriculture, et cetera, et cetera. But the work ethic piece hasn't changed. And I mean, that's who the people I promoted. I mean, I got an incredible microbiologist named Alex Brandt. Went Aggie, Texas Tech, PhD, best microbiologist in the country. You know, he balanced it, but yet when I needed him to go to Cargill, Alex, I need you to go to Cargill tomorrow. He was gone. He was likable. That's another piece of the puzzle, guys. If you're not likable, or if you're, I don't know what the term is, but strive to be likable if you can. In general, Aggies are likable, and that's another piece of the puzzle. But the harder you work, the more likable you get. To be real honest, the more respect you get. So, and it's okay if you don't want to do it. It's okay. But don't expect to rise as much as the guy that's working, 9-10 hours a day, and you're out the door 8 to 5. It's just common knowledge. I mean, I can't. It hasn't changed. It hasn't. In post-COVID, now that we're back to work, with a recession possibly coming, it's even more important today. Even more important. I need a student question.
So as a PhD student in the department, my name's Seth Jordan, and being on the research committee, what do you see as some emerging areas? Do we need to think about ag education in space? Like how far We can take our department in a lot of different areas and directions, and where do you see that going and benefiting society?
Well, I would love to see ag education do something more. That would be fantastic. Look, agriculture, Cliff Lamb, is Cliff here? Cliff's doing a wonderful job with our research in ag, and very, very proud piece of Texas A&M. We've got so many great things going on. Dr. Dendo over in the veterinary college, we've only had 2 phase 3 FDA projects in the history of Texas A&M. Only 2. Can you believe that? You got to pass phase 3 to get it on the market. And we've only had 2. Dendo's got one of them. He's using pigs to develop and I don't remember the disease that it's a childhood disease that he's very close to developing this vaccine that will prevent this disease or solve the disease. Dendo brought up a really good point when I talked to him the other day. What's so unique about Texas A&M when it comes to, and I'm a little bit off track on the ag ed piece, but on the agricultural piece, is that we get to use livestock. Whether you're in agreement with using animals or not, I'm totally in agreement with using animals to save my children or your children. I'm in the meat business, so slaughtering a pig is no big deal to me, but no offense. But we're in a very unique position in that we get to use livestock. We already have it here. And we get to use that livestock because we know how to manage livestock. Then to use, like Dendo's doing, to solve a human disease. That's a huge piece of the puzzle. Ag Ed, NASA, absolutely. I mean, anytime you guys have some thoughts on what you want to do, or can we do more, we would love to see it, love to talk to you some more. Look, I fight for agriculture. If there's a project you need help on that you're not getting funding for, I don't know that I can get it, but I'll go fight for you. So you guys put it together, bring it. As far as the chair of the research, we have a lot of different silos throughout the system in research. And one of the things that we're striving to do is to eliminate a lot of the silos and work together in agriculture throughout the system, work together with DOD throughout the system, or the Department of Energy throughout the system. And we're great in College Station. We haven't done enough in our campuses throughout the system. So we're working hard to continue doing great in College Station, but also grow our system. Because we have a lot of 12 other great campuses that we also have to focus on.
I just want to first off thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing all the advice and knowledge that you've kind of dropped on us. As a grad student, it's invaluable for me, so thank you for that. My question is, what mistakes do you see new leaders make, and how can they avoid them?
Good one. Well, I made a lot of them. I think it goes a little bit back to the entitlement of a PhD, the entitlement of a master's. When I took that job at 74 Ranch Beef, I was, I'd left a PhD program. My first day, I was loading meat on a truck and sweeping the truck out. And I'm thinking, what the hell did I do? I've got a master's, almost a PhD, and I'm back to loading meat on a truck. And then I'm cutting meat, and then I'm cleaning the plant, and I'm stocking meat in the stores. I think what a lot of, and maybe the term leader, when you start over, you earn the title of leader. You don't get the title of leader. And you need to earn that piece. And that's a piece that a lot of people forget. I got a PhD from Texas A&M in leadership. Okay, How does that make me money? How do I make any money off of that? So be careful with that title. Get in there, work your tail off, and then earn the leadership position. You're going to leave here as a leader in a degree, but the day you leave here, you're starting over. And don't forget that piece. And it's okay. It's a little demoralizing, but it's for the best long term. Dr. Smith, would you agree with me? It's, forget your title when you leave here. I mean, pretend like you don't even have a degree. Go use your knowledge to become a leader. And I think that's a piece of the puzzle. We've hired a lot of students right out of college. And it was eye-opening to both of us. You know, that you had to go in the lab and work Saturday night, you know, from 6 to 3 a.m. when they should be out partying, but they're rookies. You got the shift that nobody wants. And I don't care if you have a master's or PhD. You applied for this position, and this is what you got to do Saturday night. And you get all the night shifts. So it's starting over, and go back and prove yourself. You've got the leadership inside of you, but your boss doesn't really know it. They want to see you develop that and show me that leadership piece. So hope that helps. That's what I've seen over my time. And just don't be arrogant. Be humble and be respectful. And because that's what Aggies are. That's what we're known for. We're the best. I tell you, I finally saw a team that was as good at losing as we were, and that's Notre Dame. We were there last week. You know, we're the most gracious losers in football. Notre Dame was very similar.
Thank you, Regent Bellinger, for the talk today, and I'm truly honored to be part of this gathering. My name is Emmanuel Okolo. I'm actually from Nigeria, a third-year PhD student, hoping to graduate next year and find myself a job. So my question is actually, one of the lessons that you mentioned today actually struck out to me, and which is find yourself a true mentor. And one of the challenges international students usually face here, because it's a different environment, we're trying to find our best foot on the ground, put our best foot on the ground, and the rest of them. So as a PhD student and also about to graduate, what's your advice for us to be able to find that mentor that will guide us properly, or even as an entering or a new PhD student in the department, what's your advice for them to be able to put their best foot on the ground and make good relationship before they graduate? Thank you.
Sure. How do you find a mentor? They're there. First off, they're probably your advisors. They're probably your friends. Look, call on me anytime if I can help you. Happy to dialogue with you. My mentors have evolved over time. I didn't come out when I was 10 years old and said my grandfather was my mentor. I didn't call Gary Smith my mentor probably until 30 years ago. Probably 10 years after he spent so much time helping me, did I realize he was my mentor. So they may be there now, and you're not calling him a mentor yet. A mentor has to almost earn it, in a sense, and he more than earned it with me. And hopefully I can be a mentor to some people, but at this point, they may be advisors, they may be friends. You may not be calling them a mentor. And as life evolves, you're going to say, oh my God, that person was my mentor. That's how I got here is because of that person. So jumping out and just calling somebody a mentor early on is a little bit presumptive. And use your advisors, use your friends, ask questions a lot. Keep asking questions, and then the mentorship will evolve over time. I know I said go out and find a mentor, and if you can find somebody that can help you today and give you advice and give you direction and give you those opportunities and options, here's your options, they will evolve possibly as a mentor. So it may take a little time. Any way I can help you, don't hesitate. Love to help you. Haven't been to Nigeria. Jean and I went to Tanzania. Loved it. Can't wait to go back. Can't wait to go back to Africa. Beautiful country.
Regent Bellinger, I'm Whitley Anderson, president of the ALEC Reps, and on behalf of the department, we would like to thank you for being our inaugural lecturer and for all you do to advance agriculture. Please accept this token of our appreciation.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I hope you found this helpful. Look, you can find me anytime through the Board of Regents website. Glad to help you.